Hi everyone, if you're new, my name is Jen. Hello, I'm an author and a book reviewer. I speak about books a lot on this channel, so if that takes your fancy, grab a cup of tea and pull up a seat and come and join me. It's quite casual today. We're going to be moving around a lot. I'm going to be filming and filling up this bookcase behind me. So for context, if you're watching this in the future, it is mid-June 2020. So we're still in lockdown with coronavirus in the UK as I'm filming this. My husband and I have been in this flat in lockdown for the past 3.5 months, and before that we had just bought it. So this is the first flat that we bought together. It's a 1-bedroom flat and we love it dearly. And when we moved in, I made some vlogs showing you well, I was just painting everything white basically as a base coat, and then painted the corridor this lovely shade of green, which was also in a vlog. Just while we thought about what we wanted to do with the space, because we weren't really sure. We didn't want to rush into buying furniture before we'd really considered everything, which is fine, and I'm very happy with that decision. But it has meant, because of coronavirus, it's now 6 months later and the flat really hasn't changed that much because we haven't been able to buy furniture. That also meant that when we moved, some of my books have had to be in storage, well, in the, I keep calling it an attic that's not an attic, and that gets lots of you very excited because it sounds so mysterious. I'll show it to you, it's not that mysterious. It's just, I say it's not really an attic because it's in the eaves of the house, because the house our flat is in, the attic has been converted into another flat, which is above us. Anyway, my books are in cupboards is essentially what I mean. They've been in bags in a cupboard because one of the bookcases when we moved died a death. It did not survive. I will show you some footage of that actually, because it was hilarious how wonky that bookcase was. So about 1/3 of my books have been in bags while I was trying to work out what bookcases we were going to buy. And it's been so long that I just thought, you know what, I don't know. I'm just going to buy the exact same bookcase again. And if in the future we decide to change the furniture around so much that that bookcase doesn't work anymore, I will find it a new home and that will be fine. So it's just a standard, I think it's £35 Argos bookcase. So yesterday, Mr. M and I put up that bookcase. So the bookcase is up now, and it has highlighted how wonky the radiator next to it is, but never mind. I thought what I would just do in this video is go and get all of my books out of the attic that is not an attic, put them out on the floor and go through them, chat to you about some of them as I rediscover them, and put them in alphabetical order and put them on my shelves. So the books that are in storage are, I think, A to H novels. And then I have other bookcases, which I'll show you in a second, in our bedroom, which have all of my other books too. I also want to go through them, work out if there are any that I would like to part with, if there are any I don't think I will reread anymore. I part with books all the time because books are my job and I review books a lot. I read a lot for research as well. I don't keep everything that I read. So I'll talk to you about any books that I think I might say goodbye to. And then I need to sort out all of my other shelves as well because they're all looking a bit of a mess. So let me give you a quick overview of our bedroom in case you're curious. So when you come into the room, on the right here is Mr. M's open wardrobe, and then to the left of that I have my poetry bookcase, which is the thin one on the right, and then on the left we've got all of my non-fiction books and some books that probably have been shelved in the wrong place. As you can see, lots of books on top of that as well. To the right of that, I've got my fiction books, which I think are I to about S. And again, lots of books on top of the bookcase as well. A lot of those are my own books published in different languages. Then if we spin round, we have the mantelpiece, which has a weird picture of lots of boats underneath that we discovered in the attic that is not an attic. I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping it, but it's just there for now. To the left of that is my open wardrobe. To the left of that is then a bookcase with the end of the alphabet for fiction, short stories, and then some non-fiction books underneath that. To the left again, we have the windows and our houseplants, my desk, which just currently has loads of rubbish on it, and piles of books everywhere, and then our bed. So what I would like to do, as I said, is kind of just sort out all of my books and the rest of this room as well. And lots of you have been asking me about the houseplants. Those are Mr. M's pet children, so I will get him to talk about that later in this video. This video is also very kindly sponsored by Skillshare, but I'll talk about that later. Shall we unpack some books? Shall I talk to you about them? Like, very casual stuff. Let's do it. Welcome to the attic that is not an attic. Let's get these books out of here. All of these books need to fit on here. I'm hoping that that's doable. Have you noticed that when you take books off bookcases, they always look a greater mass than when they're actually on the shelves? Fingers crossed. I'm already finding books that I had forgotten about or are rediscovering. So this is The Little White Horse, which was a gift from Jean, which I haven't read, and I know it's one of her childhood favourites. It's got a map at the front. I really do need to read that. And then also this, I would like to film a video at some point called Reading the Books That Have Been on My TBR the Longest, or a more concise title than that. And this would definitely have to be one of them, which is Pages for You by Sylvia Browning, which I think I was gifted 15 years ago. This is about two women who fall in love, one of whom is married. And I have heard really good things. It's not even that long. Why are there so many books in the world? I'm not complaining. Oh, these books here are, well, they're not books, they are literary journals. So this is a literary journal called The Fairy Tale Review, and every year they publish a different colour. So here we've got the violet issue, the grey issue, the emerald issue, and this is done in the spirit of Andrew Lang, who did the different fairy tale books, which I also have over there as well. And I haven't read all of these journals. I've read the blue one and the red one. I still need to get to the others. They're full of poetry, short stories and non-fiction, all centred around fairy tales. Heaviest of all of my books. One and where's the one? One and two. History of the Circus and a History of Magic. Hi, I haven't just randomly got changed. It's the next day now, so I want to show you some of the books that I'm so happy to be reunited with. I'm happy to be reunited with all of them, and it's mean to pick favourites, but we do pick favourites, so let me talk to you about those. And then I want to crack on with sorting out non-fiction and poetry, because I haven't sorted those out yet. Before I do though, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video is very kindly sponsored by Let's try that again. This video is very kindly sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare are a company who I've worked with many times before, and I love them dearly. They are an online learning platform with thousands and thousands of classes. So if you're looking to learn a new skill, pick up something creative, distract yourself from the world, they have so many resources to help you. I have a code that can get you 2 months free of Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up by clicking that link at the top of the description will get 2 months free. As I mentioned, Skillshare has thousands and thousands and thousands of classes, so there really is something for everyone. Each one is broken down into manageable sized chunks, so you can watch those whenever you have free time. There are tasks for you to do. If you would like to, you can upload your work and chat to the other people taking the class, but you don't have to do that if you want to keep it to yourself. You might want to do Rich Armstrong's Perfect 100-Day Project, which is about using that 100-day challenge to explore new methods of creativity. You might like to take Leah Gorin's illustration class, which just looks absolutely beautiful. I'm really tempted by Nina's workshop, also known as DUG, who's created a pattern-based workshop called Create an Intricate Editable floral pattern. I am blown away by her work and so inspired. I know that we are all looking for ways to distract us at the moment. Mr. M and I have been doing lots of different things, including making small clay models, and we also really want to attempt at-home tie-dye as well. And if we do that, I will definitely film that and show you the results. Skillshare is really affordable too. For an annual premium membership, it costs less than $10 a month. Though, as I said, if you click on the top of the description box, that link there, the first 1,000 of you can get 2 months free. And what would be really cool is if you sent that link to a friend or a family member who you can't see at the moment perhaps, and the two of you could sign up for those 2 free months and take classes remotely together. I just think that that sounds really, really fun. If you do that, please let me know what classes you are taking, because I'm forever marking classes that I want to do myself. Thanks as always to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. It is always lovely to work with you. So, let's look at these books behind me. At the top here, I've got a print that was gifted to me from my publisher, which is the cover of my short story collection, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night. Does anyone remember this? Did anyone read this when they were a preteen? This is all about getting your period. I remember loving, I mean, you can tell how much I have read this book. I read this book a lot. I'm excited to be reunited with all of these books, but there are a couple that I'm particularly keen to get to. This is Speaking of Summer by Kalisha Buchanan, and this is a crime book. I'm not going to pull this out here, but I'll insert the cover because it's absolutely beautiful. And then another thriller that I have on my shelf is this one here called You Let Me In by Camilla Bruce, which I've heard really good things about. Jaguar Nana is a book that I bought in foils last year, and I think this is the most beautiful book that I own. I'll pan down here so that you can see. I did realise when I was unpacking that there's at least one bag of books that wasn't in the attic, so it must be at Mr. M's mum's house, because we've left some of our stuff there. Because a lot of my F books are not here, including all my Michelle Fabers. So there's definitely at least one bag that hasn't been brought over here yet, but that's absolutely fine. So I can be reunited with those at another point. Over here I have tidied up the fiction, which is K2S, and then over here I've also tidied up the end of the alphabet 2 and the 3 shelves I have of short story collections. So what I still have left to do is to sort out my fairy tale books, my non-fiction, and tidy up the poetry shelves too. The non-fiction's kind of all clustered together, so I'd like to sort it into piles of, I don't know, maybe by subject matter, and then I'll also show you some of the books that I've decided to wave goodbye to as well while I've been sorting out my shelves. I've realised that if I put dramatic music over the top instead, it's difficult to work out if I'm arranging books or if I'm trying to save the world, or possibly both at the same time, and this amuses me greatly. Okay, so I've finished doing the books. Let me show you. So on top of the non-fiction shelves, I've got some of my own books, the fairy tale review and some fairy tale anthologies. The non-fiction I've broken up into, at the top we've got books loosely about body, disability, disfigurement. Underneath that, we've got world events, some true crime. Beneath that, books on racism and feminism. Below that, we've got memoir. And then below that, general non-fiction book stuff that's kind of hard to categorize and put in smaller topics. Over beneath the initial fiction books, I've also put books on nature as well, alongside some of my Alice in Wonderland collection. Below the short stories, I have put all of my fairy tale books. So books which have collections of fairy tales from around the world, but also books that are about fairy tale type things, non-fiction books on those subjects. As for the books I am going to be passing on to other people, this is them. So some of these are books that I read ages ago and I don't think I'll read again. Like When I Was 5, I Killed Myself, Girl Interrupted, Room, The Incredible Adam Spark. Some of these are proofs that I have finished copies of, such as A Bite of the Apple and The Godchild. And some of them are just books that I don't feel very passionate about anymore. So I'm going to make sure that they go to a good home. Normally I would leave them in the book exchange at my local tube station, but that is closed. Often I can put books outside of our building as well and people will just take them. But at the moment, I don't think that's a very sensible thing to do, to put out a box of books that lots of people may end up touching. So I think that's a little bit irresponsible. So I'm going to put these all in a bag, put them back in the attic. It's not an attic. And then when it's safer to do so, I will put them outside for people to browse and take home. A lot of you have been asking about our houseplants. So I am going to ask Mr. M to give us a rundown of these because he's the one who's primarily in charge of our houseplant children. So please tell the people what kind of plants we have here.
So this is variegated English ivy. This is a spider plant that Jean gave us for our wedding, and it's called Anastasia. This is a velvet plant or purple passion plant that Lena gave to us. Apparently it has very smelly orange flowers at some point, but we've not had that so far.
It's grown a lot, that one. This one's called Violet.
Yeah. This is a spider aloe I got from my mum at some point. I don't think it has a name. Then we have this massive Chinese money plant, nameless again. And then we have like lots of little ones because it just loves to produce.
Isn't this Money and Penny?
Could be, I don't know. We kind of came up with names but forgot them. So these are some little cuttings of our plant Hagrid, which is a Rhipsalis spicifera oasis jungle cactus, and we cultivated these off and they're growing quite nicely now. This fiddle leaf fig bambino, which is like a sort of dwarf variety of a fiddle leaf fig. I think it's called Yorick.
Yes, Yorick.
Then we have a sedum burrito, which is like a sort of succulent which grows these long tails, and it's called Ed. And then we have this, I can't actually remember what the name of this plant is. We got it from Lena. It's some sort of Escoveria, I think. I'm not sure. Then this is the original Rhipsalis, which the other cuttings are from, called Hagrid. Another Chinese money plant. And then this is a prayer plant called Zima, which is grown massive.
Huge.
Apparently they're meant to be very hard to grow, but we've kind of had trouble holding it back.
We also have this cheese plant who goes by the name of Halloumi. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring it. Please do check them out. The link, as I said, is at the top of the description box down below. You can get 2 months free. I hope that you're all having a good week and I'm sending lots of love to you all. Speak soon. Bye.
If people see that on the video, they will think we're dating.